Hi everyone, welcome to our course on the history of mathematics. In this introductory video, I'd like to explain to you why I believe the history of mathematics is an interesting and important subject. Also, I'd like to discuss with you several key features of our course. To begin, I want you to imagine that you're teaching an introductory calculus course and that you and your students are discussing the limit, which is the key concept of calculus. Your students are learning from you, and they're also learning from a textbook. The textbook is likely some thick tome like this. It lays out the subject very neatly, step by step, in complete form. And while this might be efficient, it's a little bit disconcerting in the sense that it might leave the impression that this mathematics has arrived fully formed like this. And maybe that it wasn't even produced by human beings. Maybe it was dropped off by some alien in a spaceship, fully formed, ready for us to use in our mathematics classrooms. What you might not be seeing from your calculus textbook and what your students might be missing is that in the very earliest incarnations of calculus, there was no notion of the limit. In fact, the notion of the limit as we know it today arrived 200 years after the first development of calculus in the 1850s, and that definition of the limit was produced by a high school teacher, Carl Weierstrass. So the point is that in our mathematics teaching, the things we say and the curriculum that we use often gives the misleading impression that mathematics is static and arrived fully formed and may not even have been developed by human beings. And this is far from the truth. Mathematics is definitely a human endeavor. It's dynamic. It evolves over time. Even today, new mathematics is being created and used. And if your students are struggling with the idea of the limit, maybe it will be helpful for them to know that, hey, Isaac Newton didn't know what a limit was. Leibniz did not know what a limit was. This concept took 200 years to develop, and if you're having trouble understanding it in 1 hour, that is perhaps par for the course. So I believe mathematics history is interesting because it presents mathematics as a human endeavor, and it's important in that it can help our teaching be better. It can help our students understand that this is a human endeavor and not just something cold and impersonal. Now I'd like to discuss with you some key characteristics of this course. First of all, because this is a history course, you might be thinking that we are going to start at the beginning of time and cover the entire history of mathematics up until the present moment. And this is just not possible. The history of mathematics is a vast subject. We have no way to talk about every aspect of the history of mathematics. Instead, what I want to do is to focus on some key episodes and themes in the history of mathematics. Now, how will you be learning about these episodes and themes? Well, a lot of this is going to be up to you. There are 2 textbooks required for this course, and there are rather extensive readings that I'll be wanting you to do from these textbooks. There are also videos that I'm hoping that you'll watch that will convey some information. Now also, when you hear the word history, you might be thinking of essays and things of that nature. In this course, we're going to be focused on mathematical processes. So I want us to be doing mathematical problems that help us understand the thought processes that people had in the past. And that is our point of view rather than writing about historical context. So your homework will be a lot of sort of mathematical problems that will help you understand the mathematical nature of various accomplishments. However, we'll also have some quizzes, and those quizzes will include questions that will test your knowledge of historical context. Now, I'm not asking you to remember specific dates and things like that. I don't believe in that, but I do sort of want you to know in what order certain things occurred and things like that. At the end of this course also, I would like you to produce a lesson plan that you might use with your students that incorporates the history of mathematics in some key way. Finally, I'd like to discuss a few items for us to keep in mind as we proceed through our course on the history of mathematics. The first is that this course consists of 15 weeks of material offered in just 5 weeks. So your time management is going to be of critical importance to your success in this course. The second thing is I want us all to understand that we're not going to be able to cover any significant portion of the history of mathematics. The topic is just too broad for that. Rather, my hope is that our brief introduction to the history of mathematics gives you motivation and interest to continue studying on your own and hopefully incorporating the history of mathematics in your teaching. The last thing is that the people we discuss in this course are often European white males. And I want you to know that this is not by design. Unfortunately, history has denied women and people of color the opportunity to engage in mathematics. And this is beginning to be rectified in the modern world. In fact, my PhD thesis advisor is a female. But I just wanted you to know that this sort of lack of diversity is not intentional on my part. It's rather an artifact of our unfortunate history as it relates to women and people of color. Anyway, I hope that you all enjoy this course, and let's all have a great time learning about the history of mathematics.